What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Footy Fetish. Well, it's Euros special episode 3 or 4? 4?
Don't know if
Three,
you're counting
four?
them.
One of the two. We'll go 4. Suns in 4. And yeah, we're doing more Euro stuff with obviously myself, Alfie. We've got Mark Fox over there.
Hello.
Say hi.
Hi.
And Ollie Greaves just below me.
Yo.
And then he's a faceless man today, but that's just because of internet problems. But it is reoccurring guest, friend of the show, Dan Bardell. How you doing, mate?
I'm very well, very well.
Good to hear. Good to hear. How you feeling? We're going straight into England because it's coming home. So Bards, I'm going to go to you. How you feeling about England right now?
Oh god, it's such a bag of mixed emotions, isn't it? I mean,
We will start with the Scotland game because we haven't actually spoken about that yet. But,
okay, fuming about that result, but that's down to the fact that it was Scotland. You know, you want to beat them.
Yeah.
I'll keep it quite short. In the grand scheme of things, yesterday's result, I'm probably actually slightly more annoyed about because I didn't want to win that game. So the one time I won a 0-0, they don't give me a 0-0, and yet it's in our DNA. So it's a weird one. It's a bag of mixed emotions. I mean, we'll be playing at Wembley, which is good, but
yeah,
France, Portugal, or Germany.
I'm very much in the boat of I wanted us to win yesterday, so I'm quite interested. Were Ollie or Mark, were either of you for a draw yesterday?
No, if I wanted us to win.
Yeah, win. Yeah.
Okay, Mark. Bard. So what was it? Why did you sort of want the draw then? Like just go into that, mate.
I'm surprised all three of you are like, yeah, I wanted to win because I do not understand any of that.
I want attack. I want to win every fucking
we
game.
scored one goal yesterday.
I know.
Positive vibes, baby. I want positive vibes. And
hello.
This is what.
Hello, good boy.
So I watched the game
Got
with
someone
Mark.
called the good boy in the chat. Hello. Go on, bud.
I watched the game with my dad yesterday, right? And I said to him, I was like, I don't understand. If we're going for the win, how is it we've only managed to score one goal, and it was with the smallest guy on the pitch, and it was a header, and it was Sterling, who isn't really prolific. Say what you want as well, because his inclusion could be justified. You know, he's now got 2 goals, but the fact that he can turn in such a wretched performance against Scotland shows that he is so inconsistent, and it's a danger, I think, having him and, you know, Kane up top. I mean, it's not good if Kane can't score against the Czech Republic, do you know what I mean? So my argument was, if we're going to do that and we're going to win, then why are we not like bringing on Sancho earlier, or changing it up a bit, trying different things to create goals and win by like more than one?
Yeah, I'm with you. I apart from the goal, Sterling has been not great, and well, not good, like just bad basically. He's been bad. I'm with you that Sterling probably, I don't know. Do you think Sterling should start the next game, or would you?
Is there only one
Do you know what?
scoring?
It's hard.
Well, yeah,
he's the only one scoring, so he's gonna, isn't he?
We've scored 2 goals so far in this tournament, and both of them have been him. So I'm not going to say don't play him, but
He was awful in that Scotland game.
Yeah,
He was so
he
bad.
was awful. But he wasn't the only one though.
No, of course.
There was a handful of shocking performances from the England team after that game. I wanted us to win yesterday. I think you've got to go through with confidence. You've got to go through with more goals under your belt. Who knows, if results turned out differently yesterday, we could have potentially gone through in 3rd position or something, instead of obviously winning the group. I think it's all about going through with the mentality that you can win games, you will win games. I think if we'd obviously won the first game and we'd drawn the second and drawn the third, it's a little bit worrying, considering the first game was probably our hardest game out of the lot, or on paper it was anyway. But yeah, it's I wanted us to win. I think we made the right moves yesterday. First half was a lot more positive than the second half was. But if we're sticking to just the Scotland game at the moment, it was such a negative performance, a really negative team that was put out by Southgate. Obviously, I know there wasn't many changes. It was only the one change in the Scotland game compared to the Croatia game, but it wasn't just
two changes.
Yeah, it just wasn't a very good.
Before you go on, could you turn your fan off, because I think it's blowing into your mic a bit when you talk.
Is it right there?
But, yeah, that's much better. So
Either way, yeah, I think yesterday's performance was a lot more, was a lot better for us than the Scotland one was. The players that did played well for the first half anyway. Second half looked a bit more sluggish, but
Terrible.
I'm not going to say I was unhappy with the result of how we played. I think we were still a better game, but yeah, it seems like we're a one-half team at the moment. We only seem to be performing in either the first or the second half. We can't seem to perform for the full 90.
Isn't that probably partly to blame on Southgate being a bit more of a defensive player to get the goal?
I don't think Southgate's anything manager. I think he just fucking rocks up and does whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, he feels on the day. Like, I don't think there's any tactical like now set at all. He's not that kind of manager. He's good to bring the players together to have a nice feel in the camp, and that obviously takes you so far. But then at some point, you actually have to play good football.
You got to think of every 10 minutes of what you're going to do.
And it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. We don't really have any good English managers, so it's sort of like, what we gonna do, bro? Like, it is what it is. We just got to sort of hope and pray that other teams are worse than us on the day, and we can sort of sneak it.
Don't think we can be praying for that against like France or something.
I mean, we will be playing very much counter-attacking football from now on. Whoever we play next, obviously we're going to be playing a big team. So whoever we play we will be playing counter-attacking football, which actually could work to our advantage. Obviously we're going to keep Rice and Phillips in there, keep that, and you need those two in there to be able to counter anyway. You're right, Mark.
Yeah, no. It was getting random streamlabs saying, oh, it was Simon. Simon's watching, and he did a thing. He did exclamation point time, and it just should say you've been watching for X amount of time, but it just didn't do that. It just said you've been watching for 0.00. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, but so Rice and Phillips, you have to keep them in to be able to counter attack, so you can get the boys up the field a bit. And I think if Kane's standing on the halfway line, that's going to be what he loves, right? If he's got wingers bombing down the side of him like he does at Tottenham, and he can, spread the ball about a bit, which he's been doing at this season. Hopefully, that can kind of come in and play an effect now going forward, rather than us trying to be good at football, I suppose. At a dominating possession sort of way. But it'd be interesting, man. Loads of big teams have been slipping up. I mean, the only ones that haven't really slipped up, I guess, have been Italy, Netherlands. Netherlands, obviously, will come onto them, but they've been sneaky good. No one's talking about the Netherlands, but they've been pretty good. And yeah, just these teams. So I'm not too... I mean, I am worried, but I'm not too worried. It's coming home, obviously.
Still coming home,
yeah. And yes, to answer your question, Simon, Bardell is there. He's having some technical issues, so
make sure you check out Bard's Bites.
Yeah, you got his lovely logo
up on Instagram and all that. It's lovely.
That was a lot more orange than I thought, by the way. I didn't think it would do the whole thing. I was like, oh fuck.
It's actually quite nice having that little orange down there.
Breaks it up a bit.
But going on to what Alfie said earlier about Southgate making the changes, I don't understand that either against Scotland, where he only made 2, and yesterday I thought he'd done them so late, and I was, are you going to give them
8 minutes for Jake?
Give them minutes? Yeah, what's that all about?
What is that about?
It's an insult.
It is. And he took Grealish off after 60 minutes. That's ridiculous. I know he didn't look like the player he was in the first half, but he's still basically our best player.
None of them did really. None of them looked like the player that they were in the first half.
Pickford's been bloody good.
Sorry?
Pickford's been bloody good.
He
has been Pickford's been good.
You know what I love, right? Every time it gets passed back to him, what gives me a heart attack, right, is when the keeper lets them run, pulls them in, and tries to just get a pass off. And obviously that's fine because it's an easy open pass. But there is the odd time, as we have seen with, I'm speaking about Liverpool goalies here, where a pass hasn't quite right and a goal has been conceded. Pickford doesn't he absolutely just launches the ball back the other way. No, not trying to pass it back to a centre back, and the centre back's got like a winger running at him or something. He just absolutely hoofs it. I was like, sick. I rate that. Yeah. Weirdly, I'm like, he just gets it out.
Fantastic. That does add an element to our game again. Like I was saying, if we're counter attacking, Pickford's distribution is so good. Probably the best out of any keeper in the tournament, really. Maybe bar someone that I'm just missing off the top of my head, but yeah, that could add something to the game. I'm trying to be optimistic here. I'm trying to be the positive mental attitude and all that towards this next round of 16 game. But
Speaking of positive mental attitudes, I think my boy young Bukayo Saka
Just
brought a
about
lot
to
of
go on to
positivity
that
into
point.
that game.
Yeah, fantastic. He was awesome.
What a
Him and
fucking player.
Grealish. Him
Ma-
and Grealish
man
added
of the
something
match.
new. Yeah, definitely,
I
definitely.
personally-
Yeah, he is one of them. He's one of them players that you need because he's one. He's a tactical sponge. If you tell him to do something, he'll just do it. If you're like, oh, you need to mark him and make sure that he doesn't do it, he won't go and wander. He will do what you tell him to do, which is something that we are definitely going to need.
He's full of flair as well, and he loves taking on people. Like he loves receiving the ball, making the runs, dribbling with the ball, passing it. He can do everything really. He doesn't have that many weaknesses.
He's not afraid of
which
taking a challenge as well.
Exactly, yeah. And considering sort of his age, and this is his first sort of proper tournament, he's outshone quite a few of the England players, and he only played not even the full 90 minutes last night. He was phenomenal.
He was great, and we're going to need some more of that. And he has something that I guess like your Foden, your Grealish, and your Mounts don't have, which is pace, and we do need that going forward. Obviously Sterling's got pace, but then it just lacks a lot of other things. But I don't know, it's a tough one at the moment. But we'll, I guess obviously we're talking about Slovakia. The goal for the Slovakia game was a great bit of play from us. I have to say it was a wicked bit of link-up play between the boys, and there was a few times yesterday where we could have put the Czech Republic to the sword, but the finishing wasn't there. So I don't know how we get the finishing there. Harry Kane is, I know it's a weird one, but Harry Kane is owed a goal, I suppose you could say. He doesn't go 4 or 5 games without scoring. Just that doesn't happen. So I am confident he's going to bag a goal at some point. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about Kane? I guess we'll continue down that road.
I think the main issue with... Go on.
Nah, go on, Bardell. Go on, Bardell. You're the guest.
Here I go.
He went off as well.
I think the problem we got with Kane, and I think this is where I don't want to slam on like a player like Sterling, but at the minute, what we're obviously not creating is the chances. Now, whilst I don't think Kane is doing enough at the minute either, I think you can't disregard the lack of service that he's getting, and Sterling doesn't exactly pass the ball or feed the ball to him because he runs off him. Like that's the game plan they've been doing. But this is why I don't understand why we're not getting Sancho on, or even you're taking Grealish off, who's providing these chances. We're not trying to mix it up for like the last 20 minutes and see what we can do, because Southgate's desperate for him to get a goal, otherwise he wouldn't have played yesterday. If he already had a couple of goals under his belt, he probably would have been rested, and he probably would have played like Calvert-Lewin or Rashford, something like that. But we're not providing him with the service, but then we're not even trying to do that by playing, other players like wingers that can do it in the team. Then I don't know how he's gonna sort of get that match sharpness or get that click. Like the fact he hasn't formed that click with one player yet in the tournament. Is a bit of a worry, I think.
Sterling in the World Cup, so yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
So they didn't pass to him in the semi-final.
Yeah, true, and then didn't pass to him again yesterday. But I can he's not passing to anyone basically now when he's in that box. Harry Kane, he's not. He's going for goal, and
I think that's a problem as well, because whilst he might need a goal, he still needs to look up and pick the right thing. But that might be playing on his mind a bit, and I just think. He's not been gifted with loads of chances, and I think the lack of service is a massive problem. But Southgate doesn't seem to want to change it. I think he just thinks he'll get out of the rut that he's in.
Yeah, no.
It's Kane obviously in the World Cup, the last World Cup, and then obviously again yesterday, he's done the same thing now where there was a player sort of on the inside of the box that he probably should have passed to, but he went for the goal. He went for the shot instead. Obviously with in the World Cup, that seemed to hinder us quite a lot. It wasn't as important yesterday because we still ended up winning and everything, but it's those sort of opportunities that we need to be capitalising on. And I know he wants that goal, being one of the best strikers in the world. He obviously he's not used to sort of not scoring goals, and obviously on currently the world's biggest stage, without obviously the World Cup being played, it's he wants that goal. He really wants to score, but at the same time, he needs to think about the well-being of the whole team. If it's a better idea for him to pass, he needs to pass as much as he wants that goal. And yeah, I just think the way he sort of played so far, he needs to step it up a bit, really. I know it's not all his fault. He does need that service. I think yesterday was more of what we can do with some of the balls that were coming in, but I think we're heavily relying on our wing backs at the moment to provide these balls in, as opposed to sort of some of our wingers, which I think we need to sort of have a look at as well and decide really who should be putting those balls in.
Just on a separate note there,
I have no.
Lewandowski has scored twice now.
Oh,
2-2.
Poland leveled it up. Nice.
Shed,
Oh, not nice. I wanted
Shed,
Sweden to win.
Shed
really,
gaming on air. Let us know. Probably about 10 minutes ago.
But no, I have no problem with wing backs putting balls in. It just depends who those wing backs are, because I don't want Carl Walker putting balls in because he can't do it really. If Reece James is going to be there, then yeah, bang him in, mate. And Luke Shaw as well. Actually, I've been impressed with Luke Shaw this tournament. He's putting his body on the line to make some stops and stuff like that, which is great to see. We're probably one of our best players so far, and most consistent players has probably been Luke Shaw. Maguire looked good coming back.
Yeah, he looked good. Considering he played the full 90 as well. I was quite surprised that he played the full 90 minutes. I thought he might have maybe sort of been taken off around 10 instead of John Stones. But clearly, Gareth is happy with his performance and the fact that he's hopefully 100% fit. Otherwise, I don't think he would have played the full 90. But yeah, he had a good positive performance last night.
Yeah, he pinging balls around and
don't think Simon was impressed that you want Sweden to win. By the way,
it is what it is. They're better, innit?
Sweden over Poland.
Yeah.
Worse.
Why not Poland?
Why
not Poland?
I just prefer Sweden.
Oh, okay.
Sweden.
There's no fucking reason behind it. It's not like anything like that. I just prefer Sweden. I prefer their team.
Wow, could root for a friend though. He said so.
Seb Larsson, that kind of thing. It's like Seb Larsson's last tournament. You got to rep the absolute legend that he is. But yeah, no, Poland. I got nothing against Poland. I would support Poland in another game, just not
against Sweden.
Sweden have been the better team so far, I think.
Yeah, man. I want Sweden to go through top of the group, man.
Speaking of, let's see where Poland is in their group. Poland are 4th, behind Slovakia and Sweden.
Yeah, they're done out here.
They're not doing. Sorry, Simon. Say goodbye now, mate.
Lewandowski is not enough, unfortunately, this time around.
We had 67% possession, 17 shots over Sweden, over Sweden's 9. Now we dominated.
But you
dominated too late though. Is the problem.
You can dominate and draw, and it's not really worth it.
Spain have showed that possession football is not all that.
5-0.
They are smashing thingy 5-0 right now. Yeah.
Forgot to make my subs
before today.
Yeah, before today. Fair enough. But yeah, so we'll move on from England because we could go on. We've got a lot to talk about today. But just before we wrap up England talk, who would all of you guys like to see in the next round? I personally would quite like to see Germany out of the 3 of them.
Yeah, I was going to say Germany as well.
Marks for Germany. Ollie?
Germany, yeah.
Bards?
Yeah, I think I'd prefer Portugal, actually.
Okay. Nice. I'm just scared of Ronaldo, man. I know Portugal haven't been amazing, but Ronaldo could do anything at any point, and it scares the shit out of me.
Simon said, "True. I know we're out, but at least we showed a good game. Not liking these doubters."
No, mate, it could be worse. You could be Scotland.
All right, yeah, this is very true.
Don't worry about it. Do you know what I mean? You guys actually, put up an effort. Well, I suppose I shouldn't really say. They did do all right against us, but moving on to our.
I think I'd prefer Germany, only because that game that they played against Portugal the other day was a good game and everything, and I think Germany did play well, but probably the main reason why they won was just Portuguese mistakes. It was two own goals.
Yeah.
They weren't mistakes though, man. Like if they were just putting banging balls into the box, and the way that they were going, it was just so hard to deal with for the Portuguese defender. So I don't know if it's like I wouldn't necessarily say it's a Portuguese mistake. I would say it's more of a forced error on the Turk. Do you know what I mean? It's one of the things where it's like a few of them. It's like no matter what he had done, that's going in the back of the net.
Well,
Like,
one of the goals I remember seeing, it was just
It's good
literally
play from
drilled.
Germany. They
It was
were
just
good.
drilled across the face of the goal, and any defender would be stupid not
Yeah,
to try and get a leg on that, because it was like you got German players everywhere. Like, you need to get out, but unfortunately, it came across too quick and just ricocheted right in.
yeah,
Don't buy a ticket, you don't win the raffle.
that's it, mate. They're just drilling balls in, and it's people can't deal with it. But yeah, moving on to our second team, because we are now a Denmark podcast, and we can continue to be a Denmark podcast.
Get in.
They're going in. They're going through. They're going through. They beat what was it? They beat Russia 4-1 after an amazing performance. Absolutely destroyed them. Unfortunately, I was watching the Belgium game. Well, me and Ollie were watching the Belgium game, so we missed basically all the goals in that game. And yeah, and then we flicked over to the Denmark-Russia game for a little bit, and then fucking Belgium went and scored. So we missed.
I
Belgium
did the
goal.
exact same thing.
It was honestly that Belgium game though. That was a terror. But we're not talking about Belgium right now. We're talking about Denmark. They're going through to the next round to play the Welsh. So now, obviously, we hate the Welsh. Sorry, people. I'm only joking. We just hate your football team for now while they play Denmark. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? Denmark going
Denmark England final. Let's do it.
Denmark
I'd love
England final.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, what do you guys think? Denmark and Wales.
I think Denmark's got Wales.
Yeah, they've got a good chance. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can ask for a better team.
Wales have been impressive in certain sort of aspects. Obviously, they've got a few good players, but the sort of the passion that Denmark showed and the sort of drive that they have at the moment, even without Christian Eriksen, it's something to be sort of looked at in awe. Really, they're playing really good football, and you can say that obviously the whole situation with Christian Eriksen has really spurred them on to push them to go even further and do as much as they can. Obviously, I'm sure they would have been very up for it at the beginning anyway, but even more so now. But yeah, I just think that they were really good the other night, and I think that they're probably going to beat Wales. I hope they do anyway.
Yeah, 100%. I think I do think that they will win. Wales is dangerous though. Wales can't be slept on. Dan James, Ramsey, Bale. Hold on, sorry guys. I think if you can hear that, as the video's come up. My bad.
Technical errors.
Yeah, technical errors. Sorry, I was looking up a story real quick. I think Denmark will ultimately get it done. I think they're riding on a high, obviously, of the low that they experienced in the first game. But I think they'll carry that with them, and I think they're a dangerous team, man. I wouldn't want to come up against Denmark.
Simon's just posted. I think Sweden's just scored in the 95th minute. 3-2.
That is peak, man.
Wow.
I'm up for that. I like that, but I feel for you, Simon. I feel for you. I actually don't even want to support that because that's such a dirtbag move. But yeah, I pull it. Yeah, sorry, innit? I'm not even Swedish, but sorry, bro.
I'm gonna put an F in the chat for that.
Yeah, that's unlucky, man. That's unlucky. But yeah, the Danes, they're going to be riding this high, man. They're going to be riding this, and they're going to be going. They've got the whole country. They've got everyone, apart from the team they're playing, fan base behind them, 100%. On the game, and I think it's they've got a good team, man. We predicted them to get to the semi-finals, so obviously it's going to happen because we're always right over here at the Footy Fetish. So yeah, I mean it's cool. And then Wales, they've done bloody well. They've done bloody well so far. Don't know if they got a bit lucky maybe in their game against Turkey to win that, because if you look at the other games, they weren't particularly great. Maybe on another day, but Turkey was seriously underwhelming for people tipping them as the
underdog of the tournament, and they were just depressing.
And who said Denmark would be the underdog of the tournament? We did, and they're coming. We didn't say Italy though. We should have said Italy because bloody hell, they are looking very.
I don't even think they're even underdogs.
I think going into
the tournament, I think they probably they might have been, but after that first game and then every other game since then, they're being really good.
But yeah, that Italy game, man, they proved some stuff to us, I think, after playing Wales, because we were questioning whether they could deal with explosive wingers again in that with our old backline. Now they did move Chiellini out for Bastoni, but you know it's fine. Bastoni's not like a mad athletic player by any means, so you know they dealt with Bale and James very well. Obviously, when you play in a France or something like that, you are dealing with better players, but Bale's still one of the best, you know, one of the best wingers about on his day. Do you know what I mean? When he's showing up for Wales, so. Yeah, what do you guys think of Italy going ahead of their game of Austria?
I think they look really strong. I'm not sure. Italy will have to come up against like what we're gonna have to face a France, Germany, Portugal. I mean, Spain just won 5-0. I think Italy we're gonna have to face one of those teams to see a real challenge defensively. Maybe attacking wise, they play some really creative and very fast-paced football. So I think a lot of teams will struggle with that, but.
I know they've had an easier group than a lot of others, but that aside, they still have been very impressive. This football that they're playing is very sort of clean-cut football, and they're converting a lot of their chances. I think you can't sleep on Italy at the moment.
I mean, just look if you just look at everyone's fantasy teams for the Euros, everyone's got Italian players in there. Well, did have Italian players in there.
Mate, I've only added more. Trust me, I think I've got the max amount of Italian players I can have basically going into the next round.
That just speaks for itself. Obviously, the drawback on the points that you can get is ridiculous.
The rest of my players will be doing awful.
But no, I know what you mean, Ollie, where you're saying the easy group thing. But I look at it's not actually that easy of a group. Turkey, Switzerland, and Wales. Obviously, what's Turkey would it ended up being easier than maybe perceived at first, I guess. But I don't know, man. I don't know if we can use the old weak group against anyone because England, we had a fucking piss easy group and we looked shaky as shit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you know what I mean. And Spain, you can say they had an easy group. Sweden, Slovakia, and Poland, and they have looked. Well, I don't know. They finished it. They've actually looked quite good pinging the ball about and that kind of thing. But you know, when it actually comes to putting the ball in the back of the net, they can't really seem to do it.
Who's looked the best this tournament so far? Going forward and going obviously going to the back.
I would say it's probably a tie between Italy and the Netherlands.
Netherlands have been really
I think Netherlands
solid.
Have looked quite good.
They've been sneaky good. Now, obviously, I just said you can't use the thing. They played Austria, Ukraine, and North Macedonia. Austria and Ukraine are no like walkovers. Very good teams. Obviously, North Macedonia, they cause a problem. Is just they're just happy to be here in it. So it is what it is. But I don't know. Just go back to Italy. So do you guys think that what do you guys like score lines, predictions? What do you think what's going to happen in this Italy-Austria game? Do you see Austria putting up a fight, or Italy just going to put them to the sword straight away?
I think Italy will win, but Austria will definitely get a goal. I don't think they're going to be able to keep this clean sheet thing going for much longer now. They're facing someone a bit like Austria.
Wide as well, Austria, so they will be coming at them. And
I reckon a 2-1 with a late goal from Italy to make it 2-1.
Oh, okay, a close affair.
Yeah, I think Austria will just try and be more defensive and really wait for that counter, but Italy, I think, will just do the same, be defensive as well, but obviously do a bit of like a high press as they usually do, and get that late goal. So just wait for it to be like late and then just bang one in.
Bards, what do you reckon, my man?
I think Italy have looked good. I think they've got that game. I do think it might be a close affair though. I really want to see Italy come up. I know Wales, are fast, and I think that red card did kind of hamper them a bit. And they obviously didn't want to. They didn't want to be on the receiving end of like a battering because of goal difference and that sort of thing. So they did well to sort of manage the game properly. But I would love to see this Italy team come up against like an England or something like that, because I do think they can be exploited for pace still. They do leave areas, and I think in a way they've got some silky talent that is reflective of like our players like Grealish and Foden and things like that. And I would love to see that sort of battle. The only issue is Southgate would never play a team with Foden and Grealish in, but Yeah, I think Italy will win it. I think when it gets to this stage, it's it's just tournament football, isn't it? It's
Anything could happen.
luck of the draw, yeah. But I think Italy have looked good. I just think we'll see when they come up against like a stronger team. Like let's not, if they did come up against Spain, they've just put 5 against Slovakia, and no team's won by that margin yet, have they? So that's pretty impressive. And everyone sort of wrote Spain off. I didn't think they were gonna do it. So
I didn't think they were going to get through the group. I thought Slovakia would beat them today because Slovakia looked good. But yeah, no, Spain proving us wrong, I guess. But I don't know.
Two favourites of the of their group were sitting in 3rd and 4th at the beginning of the day.
Yeah, it's mad. I think, to be honest, man, I don't think Spain are going any further. I don't know who they're playing, but you can only go so long without a striker, but you know how we obviously have no striker right now, I guess you could say, because Kane's not delivering. But we have other players scoring. They, up until this game, have had no one else scoring, or even their striker. So I don't know, man. Yeah, this is not the same Spain team of what we remember when we were younger. Nowhere near.
No, not at all. That Spain team when we were younger was lethal.
Yeah, probably one
There's 2 Euros and was it 2 consecutive Euros and a World Cup in between times that they won?
Yeah,
that was a dangerous squad, man.
That was dangerous. It was it was mad. It was mad. But yeah, I mean Netherlands. I don't know who they're playing. Does anyone know what group they'll be playing from in the next one? Because they've got the game on Sunday. I don't know.
Netherlands are a funny team as well, because whilst they're scoring goals and they've also shipped a few. I mean, that 3-2 was a bit cagey as well.
That was cagey. Yeah.
I just like the look of that Netherlands team. It seems great on paper, but again, I think if they came up against a stronger team like a France, then don't really think they stand a chance because of France's experience. But it would be good to see them against an Italy, actually.
Would be. They have, but the thing is, even them, they have such an inept manager in De Boer that
wow. Criticism of him is stinging from Palace, isn't it?
Oh, he's such a waste. Yeah, I'm not going to go into De Boer, but
not going to De Boer you.
Slimy guy, I tell you. But we'll move on to the group of death, because that is still to be played tonight. Obviously, as of recording, people watching live and people watching, it's yet to start. We've got an hour till the kickoff of Portugal, France, and Germany, Hungary. So we're still waiting. But let's talk about the France-Hungary game first. Get the boring one out of the way. Because bloody hell, France were lucky. I mean, they were lucky to get the draw because they were terrible, and Hungary really, dug in, played some classic Roy Palace football, which I love to see on the international stage. And just got their goal and sat and just waited. But mate, France, man, what the hell? They're not looking good, are they?
Beatable, definitely.
Are they already through, regardless?
I think so, yeah. Because they're top of the group at the moment before playing. So
I don't know if I want to play France still though, even if they're in bad form.
Yeah, it takes in the group stages, things happen. I mean, England aren't playing well, right? But I would expect them to get better, and we would expect that from all the teams in the tournament, especially France. I just think they're not even in 3rd gear, they're grinding out. They grinded out that Germany win, and Germany were awful, and then they put in a performance their next game, and they were unbelievable. Against Portugal, and Portugal were great, and then they scored 2 goals against Germany. I think it's a nice group to look at, and watch games from. But I fully expect France to get better. Yeah.
Once it starts to matter properly, do you know what I mean? Once it's win or go home. Yeah. I think players like Kante, Benzema, Mbappe, these guys will kick into another gear, like you say, and we'll get the job done, man.
Experience kicks in.
The one thing that I can kind of say is Lloris is just awful. So hopefully, maybe that can be something that comes forward. He's a bit past it now, isn't he? So if I don't know, we could put him under. I think teams could put him under a lot of pressure, and he will make a mistake. We've seen it for Tottenham how many times? So yeah, I mean, it is. And Hungary could go through, but are we realistically entertaining this idea that Hungary could go through this group? Or
Not really, no.
Germany, after how Germany looked, if you're playing what Germany looked like against France, then I'm talking maybe they get a result here. But then after what they look like against Portugal, for me, Hungary are definitely going bottom. We could all agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Right, well, on to this 4-2 game. I only caught a little bit. I didn't catch many bits of it. So did anyone watch it in its entirety?
I watched the first half.
I watched the second half.
Nice. Bars, what about yourself? Did you watch this game, mate?
No.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know, right? I missed
But
out on the.
I missed. Yeah, I caught bits and bobs of it, but yeah, I mean, yeah, from what I saw, it was like Portugal. I don't know. Portugal were dominating early. I think they're playing really well.
Yeah, Portugal started off really well, to be fair. They had a goal disallowed, I believe, and then it all kind of went pretty quickly downhill after they got that first goal. Yeah, like you said, the German players were just whipping those balls in, which Portuguese defenders couldn't really do anything about, apart from whack it in the back of their own net. But it definitely was a bit of a wake-up call, I think, at the beginning of the game, when Portugal started off very strong. I think Germany were sort of not shocked, because you can't really be shocked that Portugal performing well, because they're a good team, but I think they weren't expecting it to come across that strong at the beginning, so they really had to push it into sort of that next gear pretty early on, and yeah, then obviously in the second half the game was basically just flipped on its head.
I saw a really funny meme of Charlie Kelly doing the old being a Pepe Silva, where he's trying to explain to Mac, and it's like me explaining to my girlfriend how Portugal scored 4 goals but lost 4-2. It's fucking
I love
brilliant.
that.
Killed
But
it.
yeah, I don't know about you guys. From what Kimmich has been fantastic for Germany. I know he's playing out of position, playing at like right wing back, sort of right mid position. But the man is just, honestly, he's such a baller. Like, he is Lahm 2.0. He is basically the embodiment of Philip Lahm, just playing now.
Just one of those players that you would think you'd never be able to replace, and then you bring in Kimmich, and you're like, oh, there we go.
Problem solved.
He's one of those players that flies under the radar, because he's not like a sexy football player. Do you know what I mean? In terms of the way he plays and all this kind of stuff. It's not something that you're like looking at, you're like, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
But he's so good, man, at just doing his job, and whatever the job is, he just gets it done regardless of where he's playing. I mean, he's someone that I would, if I didn't support Palace and I support someone that realistically could sign him, I'd be killing for him, man. But I was looking at, like, Germany aren't even starting Sane, Goretzka, obviously Werner, but you can give and take Werner. Niklas Süle is not playing as well, so I don't know. This Germany team, man, they're I don't know if they've woken up yet. I guess you could say they've woken up because of that Portugal win, but if not, man, they're gonna. I think they've got enough players. You know, Gnabry's barely done a thing so far, and you know he's good for a goal or two every now and then. Thomas Muller, the same. So
I think he's got an injury at the moment.
What, Muller? Has he?
Yeah, I think he's got a knock.
Oof.
I'm not sure if he's playing.
Let me have a look at the team sheets. I've got team sheets here for the games. Do you want me to run through them quickly for 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay. So Germany, Hungary, sorry. Neuer in goal, and then same back three as last game, Ginter, Hummels, and Rudiger. And then same midfield of Kimmich, Gundogan, Kroos, and Gosens. And then the front three, there's one change basically. It's Havertz and Gnabry still part of that front three, but Leroy Sané's come in for Muller. So you were right, Mark. He's taken a knock. I could go through the Hungary team, but I actually can't be bothered.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Portugal, Patricio, Semedo, Pepe, Diaz, Guerrero.
That's the Wolves team, mate.
And Van Dijk's big brother. And then you got Matinho, Pereira, and Sanchez. Renato Sanchez, man. He feels like such a throwback player, but he's still quite young, I think. Yeah, he never really did anything, did he? And then Bernardo Silva, Ronaldo, and Jota up front, which is pretty nasty. A bit of a different team for France here. Lloris, Hernandez, Kimpembe, Varane, and Koundé. I don't know how to say his name. Sorry. Kante, Pogba in the midfield, not really that difference, but they've gone for Tolisso at right mid, and then Griezmann, Mbappe, and Benzema are up top. So,
Fucking hell. Jesus.
Tolisso, no Kingsley Coman starting, no Thomas Lemar starting, no Rabiot,
France are already through, aren't they?
no Pavard. I think, yeah, basically, I don't think. Yeah, so they have 4 points anyway, innit? So even if they come third, they'll go through because they've got some of the highest points of a third place team anyway. So, yeah.
They might be just resting some players.
Realistically, Germany and Portugal can go out if they lose today.
Yeah.
One of those teams might not make it because they have 3 points and
Yeah, it's the top scorers that are the third place finishes, and there's going to be a lot of third place finishes with 4 points.
although they probably will go through because they've actually got positive goal difference, whereas everyone else in third doesn't. So they probably will go through, to be honest, in third anyway. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's looking a bit mad this the end of this game for the I think.
I'll tell you what, for Portugal, one player we were talking about, Renato Sanchez. He's looked good, and he's been probably one of their big attacking threats. Yet, Fernandes has done absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he has been missing this. I forgot about even
criticism been directed his way. Yeah. I mean, a lot of it's the criticism I read after the game because I saw the highlights, and then all the talk has been he needs to step up to the plate. He's not been good enough, and obviously Ronaldo's carrying it at the moment because he's just an absolute baller. But yeah, I think Fernandes needs a good game under his belt, and obviously this will be the game to do it. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting if he carries that form into next season. Is it like burnout? Because that guy's just played so much football.
It's true, he has, and that's not gonna stop anytime soon. He's gonna be in, week out for United.
Weeks off after the Euros, but then he'll be straight back at it with United again.
Yeah, he's getting a rest tonight because he's not starting. So, I mean, it's good for you guys, I suppose. Odds, but
come on though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. See, I think I'll make my predictions tonight. I think France and Germany will win, which will mean Germany and France go through automatically, and we will play. Oof. Okay, so if France and Germany win, it will be by who wins by the more goals we play, because they're both on the same goal difference.
Jesus.
So we basically probably will get France or Germany in the next game.
It's not great.
I would take the Germans. I did say Portugal earlier, but I would take the Germans in a one-off game, and Well, I mean, this is the thing. We have to go in. Although I did want second place, and you guys all wanted first, you did say we've got to go in with that confidence. We haven't conceded yet. We haven't lost yet.
Yeah.
And we know there is more to come from this English team. I think that's the optimism you've got to go in with
someone good at
in the next round, especially if we face the Germans. And if we're facing the Germans at Wembley, then
what if we knock out the Germans at Wembley in the Euros?
Oh,
beautiful stuff.
Brilliant.
And then we go knock out the French.
Just don't want anyone on penalties, man. Like, after seeing that Europa League final where Man U just got battered by those penalties from Sevilla, was it? God, that was so good. Those penalties were so good, and I don't trust. I don't trust any English players to do a penalty that good.
No, you're right. Completely. Yeah, it does worry me, man. It does worry me. I mean, yeah, there's no one not worried because it is just all like a bit fucked, isn't it? Going into this next round, but
yeah.
Do you know who's not going into this next round? And we will finish on this bit of the Euros. So let's just, let's all take a moment. Let's do some waving for Scotland. See you later. See you later, Tartan Army. Best thing you've ever done is come bottom of the Euros group. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, see you later.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. Yeah, take your badge. For participating.
They're going home.
Yeah. We have got a mate of ours who's currently MIA because he's a Scotland fan, and we just we'll take this time to reach out to him and say, mate, come back to us, accept the banter we've been giving you, and unmute the group chat.
Yeah, come back to the group chat, not support England. I don't. Just come back to the group chat.
Yeah, you don't have to support England because you love Scotland in it, but it is what it is, and they're going home, but it is coming home. So yeah, basically, that's it really for the Euro.
Hang on, can we just touch on it a little bit because they were awful, weren't they?
Yeah, go ahead. They were so bad. They lost to Croatia. They were shit.
Well, I mean, everyone's saying I know we drew 0-0, but didn't offer anything really. We hit the post twice.
Yeah.
We hit the post twice in the first 20 minutes. That would have been a completely different game. But yeah, man, they're just terrible. They are so bad, and they thought they were going to do really well, and they didn't. And it was just nice to see.
All this Billy Gilmore hype that's been happening after the England game and stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I really didn't feel like he impressed me that much.
I didn't really
in the
see
England
him.
game.
He's impressed me more in Chelsea games I've seen him than he did in that.
100%,
He is a good player. Don't get it twisted. He is a
but in terms of he was obviously being lauded as a massive impact, and he was a great player, and he was this, that, and the other against England. But when I was watching the game, I didn't really sort of pick up on a lot of what he did. I don't know if it was just me or if it was just him being sort of a bit overhyped after that game. But I know exactly what you mean. He's played some really good games for Chelsea, and he's a good young player. And I think definitely down the line he can do a lot more. But I didn't think he was as impressive as a lot of people on social media were making him out to be.
To be fair to Billy Gilmore, trying to operate and guide that Scotland team is trying to conduct a musical, but you've got animals playing the instruments. Do you know what I mean? It's just never going to work. You can try your hardest, but at the end of the day, it's just going to be a load of rubbish. But yeah, no, see you. Bye. See you later. Wales, you're next. See you later.
We should have played Bellingham, and then all the talk would have been about how good Bellingham was compared to Gilmore, and then we probably would have won 3 or 4-0.
Yeah.
I think Bellingham did a great job when he came on for the dying minutes. I still think he made a really good impact.
He was sick, but again,
for a handful of minutes.
The dying minutes, yeah. Why are we making subs in the 80th minute?
It is one of those things where it almost doesn't matter, does it? It's just.
I understand in a way though. A 0-0 is a good result, and as I said, I would have taken a 0-0 for the Czech result. And if we would have won the Scotland game, but then drawn 0-0 against Croatia, you probably would have taken that, right? 4 points, but because it was the other way round, you didn't want to. And I think had we lost that game,
Scots, man.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just because of that. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
it's like a derby.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like a loss because we wanted to win so bad, but yeah, I think Scotland just offered absolutely nothing. They play football. Who was it that said? Yeah, Souness had a right go, didn't he? I don't know if you saw that.
No, I don't. As soon as I see Souness now, I just sort of turn off.
Oh wait, yeah, me too. But I saw he said Steve Clark plays football from own age. He needs to come out and play modern football and all that. He proper slammed him, and I was like, mate,
doesn't have the players for it, man.
Exactly. You got Scottish players.
You got Shay Adams and the Dykes guy up top. They can't. They're not professional. They're football players. You're having me on, man. You're having me on. They are terrible. That whole team. They had one centre back playing centre back. They had one centre back playing. They had 3 centre backs on the pitch, and they had 1 actual centre back playing there. And it says more to the fact that we couldn't beat them. That we were terrible.
All of their football just went up the left.
Weren't good. If they were good in that game, I'd hold my hands up as much as it would hurt and be like, look, you guys played good football. But they didn't. They were terrible. We were just even worse. It's just.
There's a lot of controversy as well about the fact that obviously when Billy Gilmore was found out to have had COVID, and then we had Mount and Chilwell isolating even after obviously returning negative tests. But yet Scotland were allowed to play last night, and all the team that's been surrounded by Billy Gilmore for the last couple of weeks were allowed to just play when they returned negative tests. I can half understand why we didn't play. I think it was just being cautious, but the fact that literally the whole Scotland team were allowed to obviously go and do their thing last night. None of them were forced to isolate, but then obviously Mason Mount and Ben Chilwell were after spending 5 minutes next to him, as opposed to the whole Scotland team that's been surrounded him for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
It
Yeah, that was a bit sort of odd, really. I don't really know why that was to happen, but
The only reason I can sort of sum up in my head as to why that was happening is because they just got to give the fans something. You know, they got to wake up. And be like, I'm in Scotland, so you know, you got to give them something. I'm only joking, but yeah, I don't know. It is a bit messed up, man. To be honest, I don't really know. I saw Petr Cech calling it out on Sky Sports and that kind of thing, and it is weird, mate. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Like, it sucks that we don't have Chilwell or Mount. I guess we don't have them for the next game, right? Or they come back or they're eligible
back
to
on
play
Monday and
the
we're playing on
day
the Tuesday.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So they're not going to play because they're not. They just won't. They're not going to be around the squad. They're not going to be doing any tactical stuff. You know, that kind of stuff. They can watch film and all that kind of stuff, but that only goes so far. It is a bit messed up. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because they're out. So yeah, see you later. We'll get on to some transfer news now, shall we? Because we could talk Euros. Obviously, it's a Euro special, so we have talked a lot of Euros. But there's a lot of stuff going on in transfers, boys. The biggest one, Manchester City have made a formal £100 million bid for Harry Kane. Man like Harry Kane. They also I don't know if it's confirmed or it's just sort of rumoured speculation at the moment that three players by the names of Raheem Sterling, Aymeric Laporte, and Gabriel Jesus are also can be part of that £100 million deal as well, like added on top. Which Spurs have kicked it back. Daniel Levy's like, no chance, not having it. You know, but I don't know, man. If I'm them, I'm taking 100 million plus one or two of them players.
100%.
definitely.
I mean, I'd take 100 million anyway without one of the players. But also, the players hold the cards in that move. Like, if you were Sterling now, imagine being in that England camp and then being like, so you're telling me I've got to support the guy next to me
who was just taking my job and I've gone to his old
gets to go
shit
there
club.
and I've got to go to his shit club, not win any trophies, and yet I'm
But
scoring goals at the minute.
What they should do, if they were going to take anyone, they have to take Jesus.
Oh, they've got to take Laporte. I was going Laporte.
Well, no,
man.
as in,
Their
like,
backline is messed up.
If we're talking about sort of player for player, obviously striker for striker, whatever, they need to take Jesus. And I think
Jesus ain't a striker.
the most.
He plays a good role. He's a good
striker.
actor, but he's a great actor. But
no, but I think for City, I think they're going to be hoping take 100 mil and Jesus. They want to probably keep Sterling and Laporte. Or definitely keep Laporte. And yeah, probably keep Sterling.
I think in terms of the realistic option, Jesus is the most realistic one because he's probably the worst out of the three.
Yeah, he'd be the one willing to go there.
Probably, yeah. He needs to look for game time, really. Like, I mean, although he's probably on a hefty wage, but Laporte, no way, mate. No, the guy is so good.
Yeah.
And yet he's already switched allegiances, and now he would not want to go there.
No, but then you look at Alderweireld and
Atletico Madrid or something like that.
you got like Alderweireld and what's his face for Tongan there, man. That is so old, bro.
Don't get me wrong. They need him. Like Tottenham need him. I just don't think Laporte would want to go there.
Yeah, I think the only player that would be up for the move out of those three is probably Jesus.
Yeah, even then, I don't even think Jesus would be up for it. I think he's looking at it being like, right, I'm rubbish at Man City. What the hell am I going to be like when I'm playing for Tottenham?
Well, at least he'd get some game time.
Yeah, true. That's true. He had plenty of game time this year. He had plenty of time to take that striker role with Aguero being injured, and he was just shit. So
he wasn't given it.
yeah, exactly. But he had the time. He had the game time to get that role, and he didn't do anything with the game time. So.
Do we think City will put in another offer?
Yeah, this is not the end of it.
Oh yeah, it was rumoured to be a take it or leave it offer, but you know what City are like. They're just going to throw a bit more money at it or some money in the players or whatever. But Tottenham value Harry Kane at about 120 mil, I think. Well, that's all being reported anyway. So I think they probably would let him go this season for 100 mil plus. Probably one of those players, maybe two of them.
Laporte's what, 60 million? Probably you get for Laporte.
Easy.
So that's 160 million already blowing their evaluation out the water. So
that's the thing. I think if they were to offer Laporte as well, I don't think they would offer Laporte and the 100 mil. I think they'd probably offer maybe 75, 80 mil plus Laporte because he's worth obviously a lot more than the other two players there. But yeah,
I don't think he goes. You know,
You don't.
I think Kane stays, and I think
I would
they'll
not
end
be
up
surprised.
going with Ryan Mason.
I am kind of with you.
And yeah, because I think it depends on their managerial
Well,
target. I think they probably want the guy from Ajax.
Ten Hag.
Is it?
Eric
Hag,
Ten Hag.
And I think he's got one more. He signed a 1-year extension, I think.
Yeah.
So I think they'll try and go for him, which means if they keep hold of Kane, we will have like an interim manager this year. Probably get or they might go for Scott Parker, but he's going to go Bournemouth probably.
See,
So
I'm with you on the keeping Kane thing, but I think Ernesto Valverde will be their manager. The ex
maybe.
Barcelona
But I mean,
manager.
even if so, I can see them keeping him for the year and then selling him next year because I think he's got like 4 years left on his deal. Then it's
Crazy.
3, I think maybe. So he's still going to be worth 100 million next year. So Man City could probably just offer exactly the same kind of deal next year, and then end up getting him. But whatever manager they appoint will then be able to spend the money. I seriously think they haven't got a clue in terms of who's taking that job, so they can't really sell him with all this money sitting back for a guy who's not going to be in the job like next year.
But then, like, you're looking at any player, like even if they want to rebuild right now, like there are so many clubs that are way more appealing than Spurs that even aren't maybe as good as Spurs right now, just because of the infrastructure and
the
way
mid to lower league tables. Clubs are probably more attractive than Spurs right now.
Well, if I'm a player looking at coming to the Premier League, I'm looking at like Leeds, Villa, Everton. Well, probably not Everton now because they lost Ancelotti, but them couple teams. You know, you'd even go Arsenal over Spurs, wouldn't you, as a neutral? Like, and that's saying something. So
you'd always go Arsenal with Spurs.
But you are right because you were saying as well their backline's getting old. So they're in desperate need of some defensive reinforcements. I know they've got is it Rodon? Oh,
Rodon. I don't know.
So he might be quite good for the Welsh guy. They're going to need a striker. I doubt Son's going to want to stick around for too much longer.
I think it's just
he's going to want a massive paycheck to stay.
Oh yeah.
So by which it remains to be seen how good he'll be if Kane does go. So he might not link up with whatever replacement they get. And then they've got players like Lo Celso who just haven't really cut it. And then they're stuck with like Bergwijn and things like that.
Can't finish.
They're in desperate need of like a whole new team, like a whole new spine. Lloris, getting older, not getting any better. I think they're in big trouble of sort of really falling out of that top. The big six, even though they're in there for whatever reason.
I'm not seeing. Yeah, I'm not seeing any transfer rumors for him right now. Only managerial stuff. So it's like, when are you gonna? There's rumors that apparently it's gonna be done this week. Managerial thing. This week it's gonna get done. So that's why I'm leaning more Valverde than Ten Hag, because I think it's gonna take a little bit longer to get, depending on how far their talks have already gone with him. But if I'm Eric Ten Hag, bro, I'm not moving away from Ajax this year to go Spurs, bro. Like, that's not.
I know. I mean, that's why I think they need to get him next year, and I can see them appointing like an interim one, because even if they get Valverde, I can just see that going absolutely down the pan.
Gattuso from Fiorentina. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's so many players on their list that have either talks have been broken down, or the manager's just not been interested in the slightest. Which you think for a Premier League team, you would expect them to be quite a few managers jumping up the opportunity to manage a sort of a higher up Premier League team, as opposed to obviously like lower league or lower table or whatever. There should be a lot more managers wanting that role. But I can fully, as an Arsenal fan, I'm obviously Arsenal biased, but we can definitely there should be a lot more players, or a lot more managers, wanting that role compared to sort of the amount that actually are. And I think probably the people that are wanting that role probably aren't the people that they're looking for, or the types of people that they're looking for. Obviously, there's going to be some other managers that will just look at it and go, well, no one else wants it, I'll bloody have it. But they're probably not the players on, the managers on Daniel Levy's list.
Nah. I don't even know who's left on that list by this point, man. It must be exhausted it.
If you were Valverde, and then you said, right, you can manage Tottenham, and you get £100 million from the sale of Kane, or 120, or you say, or you can go to Everton and you get £120 million anyway.
Yeah.
They're spending big, so they're going to probably have that much money regardless. Whereas all that transfer key money is going to come directly from the sale of Harry Kane. What are you going to go for?
If they sell Harry
It
Kane.
makes more sense to probably go to Everton because you're going to get that money anyway.
Yeah.
They've got some decent players there.
Yeah.
So I know Benitez is probably going to go there, but I'm just saying in terms of if I was Valverde, I'd be like, yeah, why wouldn't I? Everton instead of lose a main striker and practically have an aging spine of the team.
Yeah, no, yeah, literally, there are so many more attractive prospects of teams out there than Spurs right now, and I think that Levy's really messed this up. I think, depending on how this whole situation falls out and the whole Kane falls out, he's probably going to lose his job, man, and deservedly so. He's been, since this whole ESL thing, all this stuff, man. He's been his head. He thinks Spurs are a lot bigger than they are, I think, and that's coming back to shoot him in the foot right now. But move on to the red side of Manchester and your boys, Bardell. Yeah, still after Sancho, matter of time, mate, innit, basically.
Oh, man, just get it done. Like,
yeah.
Knowing the price.
It's just a matter of time. There's not much to really say about it. Like, it's just whatever. Just pay what they want, man. But a more interesting one. Well, yeah, 100%. But more interesting one is the defender situation, the centre-back situation. So from what I've seen, you're monitoring two guys. One is Rafael Varane, but Madrid want 80 million and they're not willing to drop that price. And also monitoring Pau Torres, the other Spanish, Spanish centre-back who's starting in the Euros for now. He's been fantastic because he has a £55 million release clause. So, what's your thoughts on that, man? Or have you heard anything different? Or
yeah, I mean, see, I've seen a lot of rumours as well with Ramos, but I think he's probably going to go to PSG, and I think this is where I think it is a little bit interesting because if I had the choice between those two that you just mentioned, I probably would take Varane because I've seen more of Varane, and also I just love that French team, and Varane's been on Man United's radar for years. I think Fergie wanted him, and then he ended up going to Madrid. Having said that, I think it's really interesting because he's also been linked with PSG. But if PSG are going to get Ramos, then that's their defender sorted. They don't really need another one from Madrid. So I think that sort of paves the way for Man United to get him. If that's the guy they want, and I will be happy with either. But I do think Varane has a bit more pace than Pau Torres. He did play against us in the Europa League final as well. So that's the longest I've seen him. Yeah, he is a good player, and he's tall as well. But I don't know. I'm struggling to find or see how we would sign a centre back in the window. Obviously, we've been linked with Kieran Trippier as well before that, and I just have a feeling like that would be the preferred signing because I think then the Glazers will go, oh well, you signed a right back, you play him at right. The back as well, he's versatile.
I think that's the plan. Or do you think moving Wan-Bissaka to centre back is a plan? Because you spent 50 million on a right back, and now you're trying to spend another 40 odd on another right back.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think we'll spend I'd buy Trippier at 50 million, max. I wouldn't spend 40 million. If that's the case, then pay money on a decent centre back so that Wan-Bissaka can probably be higher up the pitch, but he'll hopefully get better at attacking. I understand the links to Kieran Trippier because swap him in and out. He played so many games as well that it's worth swapping them in and out and just trying something new in the last 20 minutes or having a guy just on set pieces so that you can get Harry Maguire's head on things and a thing like that because there was that World Cup when Harry Maguire was scoring all those headers and we haven't really seen that since he's arrived. Going back to the centre backs, I think I'm struggling to see how we'll sign one because we've got Bailly, we've got Tuanzebe, we've got Lindelof, we've got Mengi, who's probably going to go on loan. We got probably countless others. We've got Maguire. Obviously, he'll be the starting centre back. But he's the top on the list. I can't. I think we've signed Bailly down to a new contract as well. So unless we sell him, can't see another centre back coming in.
Bailly's a weird one. I don't know.
If anything, I'd start Axel over Bailly, but I feel like Axel will go on loan. I've seen reports today saying he wants to go out on loan because he thought he should have had more chances last season. Villa had him online when they were in the Championship, so maybe they'll be interested in having him. I think that'll be a good loan if they do want him. But yeah, I don't know. I'd love to sign a centre back, either of those two, to be honest with you.
No, fair enough. I think either would be great. I think if you're gonna splash the cash on Sancho, maybe go for a more reserved option in Pau Torres. Although obviously he's not as much of a guaranteed baller like Varane is, but he is fantastic and he's younger. So it is what it is. But
Touching on
got
that
this-
Sancho transfer quickly. I hear it's not the amount that Dortmund have got the issue with. It's like the payment plan that you're offering for it. I think obviously they wanted just a bit more up front, and I think there was like 8 mil worth of like add-ons and stuff. But I think they just wanted a bit more of a guaranteed bigger figure up front. So yeah, like you guys say, it's just a matter of time. It will be announced soon enough.
It's exactly what happened with Maguire. Like Leicester wanted all the money up front, or 90% of it. So we had to. That took ages, and it was like a done deal, and then we had to do it. But just quickly going back on the Varane situation, his value is obviously he's not 80 million considering he's got 1 year left on his contract. It will be interesting because this whole Pogba situation is very frustrating at the minute because I don't think he's gonna sign a contract, and if he drives it down, I'd rather just, if he wants to go Madrid, fine, do a swap with Varane if it's gonna have to be like that, like for like, because I don't think we'll get 80 million in the market. I think they anticipated they would still, like the Eden Hazard situation. I think they anticipated there'd be more bids for him, but because of COVID and all that, there's an excuse to drive the price down. Man United aren't good at driving the price down, hence why we're struggling with Sancho, but we always sell players for below the sort of going rate. So I think it'll be interesting if we sort of and he doesn't sign a deal this summer. I think we might buckle to Real Madrid, or we just might try and get Varane on a free next year. But yeah, that Pogba situation is, I think, the most frustrating this summer.
I think you guys need to get rid of him now.
Yeah.
While he's still worth something.
I'm willing to agree. I know he's quality, but like, if he's going into the last,
though.
I've seen rumours around a swap deal of potentially a swap deal which would see Pogba go to Juventus and Ronaldo come back to Man United.
I've seen that as well.
yeah, I would take that.
Yeah, cool, yeah.
It's Ronaldo.
I can't see how that would work with Ronaldo's wages. I would love it,
Oh,
but
yeah.
also Ronaldo's linked every year. So as a Man United fan, you just
Of
become
course,
numb
yeah.
to it all.
Dumb to it, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I would not go into the season with Pogba with 1 year because it's going to be an absolute circus. And if you don't play him for 2 games, whether that's tactically for a tactical reason or not, the press and everything else is just going to blow up and be like, see, they're falling out and all sorts. And then he's going to go away with France, and then he's going to do some chatting, and his agent's going to come out. You know what I mean?
It's tough because of how well Paul Pogba plays for France compared to at United. It's because I think obviously the players that he's surrounded by, and well, mainly Kante, just make him look so good.
Well, I mean, we had this exact conversation last podcast about Pogba.
Yeah.
Like, this situation, you could talk about it forever, but yeah, like you say, he's a different Pogba. Maybe getting a fresh start for him and a fresh start for Man United would basically be the best thing. But Arsenal, we'll go on to Arsenal. Sorry, Ollie. No, go ahead, Buzz.
Just to say, I think it's similar, like, because I would love a CDM, and I think you can tie Pogba down if you get a CDM. Stop playing Fred or McTominay there, or both of them. Get one central defensive midfielder can do the job. I'm not saying Kante's level because I don't think anyone's at Kante's level, but like if you got just say Rice for the sake of saying Rice, or like exactly that, Mark, then Pogba would look better. But instead, we've got to play him on the left. It means Rashford don't play, or Mason Greenwood don't play, and instead we're playing Fred and McTominay. It's just, I think that's a key problem, is like the CDM position needs to get sorted. But on to
Definitely, you got a few positions to get sorted, but hope they will. Arsenal still pursuing Ben White. but no, for as far as my knowledge is, no further offers have been made to Brighton. I don't know. I think that it's a smart signing if you're going to go for it. I think that you're going to have to give up a lot of money, and you will face a lot of jokes like Maguire did with United, because you'll pay a premium on the fact you'll probably end up paying 50, maybe even 60 million for Ben White, and he's not that kind of player. But because of the situation, and also Arsenal are keen on signing Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but they are going to face competition from the likes of Manchester United and Real Madrid apparently.
God,
So yeah, I don't think Man United. I think that's bullshit. The Man
I
United
think
league.
United would want him, potentially Real Madrid, but I'm not sure if he would. Well, he probably would go abroad, to be fair, if it's Madrid, but I don't know how much he'd play at Madrid. He would
leave Everton for that. I'm not leaving Everton if I'm Calvert-Lewin.
No. I wouldn't leave Everton if I was Calvert-Lewin, even come to Arsenal. Then as an Arsenal fan, that's not a good thing to say. But he is. We're looking for a striker. He is a striker. He fits the bill in that sort of sense. But I think we would probably want to go with someone with sort of a bit more experience, someone that's a bit more proven. Obviously, I know he's had a really good season just gone, but oh, mate, we should never have got rid of him.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's had a good season this season, Calvert-Lewin, but I don't think he's sort of proved himself enough to warrant sort of being the Arsenal first team striker. I think we should go for someone with a bit more experience, someone that's probably going to cost a bit more, but someone that's proven over a longer period of time.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that Calvert-Lewin is bad in the slightest, because he's had a phenomenal season. He's a good player. I want to see him get some minutes at the Euros, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I see what you mean with that. He's not like an Arsenal kind of player you would see playing for Arsenal, but he's more than good enough. Like, he's better than Aubameyang and better than Lacazette right now, who are your two other strikers.
Last season, yeah, he was, yeah.
Which is, if we're looking forward, like, who is more likely to be better looking forward? I would put my money on Calvert-Lewin than Aubameyang or Lacazette from what I've seen personally.
Saying that though, I mean, Arsenal's sort of, correct me if I'm wrong here, Ollie, but like, wasn't Arteta's sort of philosophy was to get the crosses into the box and the balls into the box and that sort of thing? And Aubameyang wasn't getting on the end of the headers, or Lacazette wasn't either. I mean, Dominic Calvert-Lewin would do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally see the link there.
It was the balls that were, well, it was the lack of balls that were going into the ball. Obviously, there were balls going into the box, and Lacazette and Aubameyang weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing, but there were enough balls going into the box. That's where we were lacking the creativity all season. Obviously, we had some of our players like Saka that were getting involved and stuff like that, and he was putting in some good balls. But other than that, we can't just rely on just the one or two players that were putting in balls. I think if we were to get another more creative midfielder, or a better right winger or something, then I think Dick Calvert-Lewin would probably be a very good fit at Arsenal, because if we can provide him that service, then I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be able to tuck him away.
No, I agree with you, but one thing I would push back on what you said there was obviously saying, like, you have balls going into the box, but obviously Aubameyang and Lacazette aren't getting onto it, but you don't have enough balls getting onto the box. But with Calvert-Lewin, you're more likely to score from those one or two. Like, one of those is more likely to be a goal anyway. So you've got a goal there anyway if you have Calvert-Lewin, because you do put balls into the box. And then if you have a proper target man, I'm sure your boys will put more balls into the box.
Yeah, probably. But as I said, it's that, and I don't think we should. We wouldn't just get Calvert. We wouldn't just get Calvert. We need someone else to help provide the balls to Calvert-Lewin. We can't, as I said, we can't rely on the one or two players that were putting in some sort of balls last year, and especially the fact that we were relying on 19-year-old Saka to be putting in balls majority of the time. It's a lot of pressure for a young kid to be under. Obviously, he lived up to expectations. He had a good season, but yeah, I think we do definitely need a striker, but there's obviously a few other players that were positions that we need to fill as well, which will help that striker as well.
So would you, at this point, would you prefer? Because it's quite obviously it's quite confusing. Obviously, I'm not an Arsenal fan, so I don't know the ins and outs. It's quite confusing because obviously, would you rather have a target man that could put the balls away that your players are currently giving, like that you've seen and that we know that Arsenal can do, or would you rather have a creative midfielder, like attacking midfielder, come in but still have that lack of finishing up top? So if he's creating, the finishing might not even
both.
work.
I'd like both. That's what I mean. We need that striker to be able to put in those to put away those crosses, but we also need someone that's going to be providing more of those crosses, not just obviously the couple that we were putting in.
Which one's to you more dire? Because for me, looking at it, it's the striker.
Yeah.
So
because it was a lack. Well, yeah, it was the striker that let us. It's tough. There was a few players that really, or positions that really let us down last year that obviously ended up making us have a terrible season. But I'd say probably the most key position is probably a striker at the moment, unless we do get some sort of creative wizard in, and suddenly Aubameyang and Lacazette pull the finger out and start doing something. But I'm not willing to take that risk at the moment.
Stranger things have happened, so you never know.
Yeah, I'm not willing to take that risk at the moment. I think I'd rather get a better striker in maybe, but yeah, there's also.
I like the Calvert-Lewin thing. I like the Calvert-Lewin thing, man. I think that could be really cool. I think it's a really cool idea. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it's a really cool scouting move from Arsenal and a potential. I like it, man. And we've been talking about. Obviously, we were talking about recently, Ollie, how terrible Arsenal scouting transfer-wise is. Yeah. So identifying a player like Calvert-Lewin for Arteta to obviously, as we're saying, he likes to put balls in the box. It's good. It's good, man. It just if they can.
Good, but it's also not like it's a bit of an obvious kind of sort of person to think about. You think
sometimes
about
obvious are just the best in it. If
Yeah.
If you're signing a striker, you'd rather go obvious and get Lewandowski or a Haaland, innit, than go like obscure.
Yeah. I talk about sort of obvious in terms of let's look at the players that the strikers that performed in the Premier League last season. Okay, Calvert-Lewin's one of them.
Which Calvert-Lewin's like the category down as well from the big boys, so you can get him cheaper and that kind of thing. He doesn't bring as many demands and all that stuff as well. So I completely get what you mean. But
the track record as well with producing strikers ain't too bad in recent history, is it? With Rooney, Lukaku. I know Lukaku went there, but Rooney, Lukaku, and Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. They're great, but yeah, Arsenal, man, they got to make some moves soon, and I think that we will see some transfers coming in.
But, the longer through the Euros it gets, and the closer to obviously after the Euros, basically, is when it's all gonna suddenly go nuts, and everyone's going to be making signings left, right, and centre. I think a lot of teams and players are holding off while the Euros is going on. So yeah, hopefully the coming weeks will be the ultimate decider, really.
No, 100%, and it's going to be
Arsenal need a good maybe 4 or 5 players in.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Which is nearly half of our team.
11 would be preferable, but that's a bit unrealistic.
Oh no. 10. Well, we've got Saka.
Oh yeah, true. But yeah, no. We'll move on from Arsenal because it's still a lot bit, but not as big as it was like last week. I know, obviously, just quickly, Villa are still trying to pursue Emil Smith-Rowe, but I don't think anything really will come of that. I don't really see the point from Villa, but fair enough. But we'll move on to Liverpool, your boys, the Reds. Not a lot of rumours from like credible sources I've found on the internet.
A lot of hearsay.
A lot of Twitter bots just blah. But from what I found from credible sources, or people, you know what I mean. John McGinn. It's a weird signing, but fair play, man.
I mean,
that's a fall from grace, isn't it? John McGinn.
For some time, I've just put my faith in Klopp, and because he delivers some good players, and he does get the best out of every player he puts on the pitch, give or take Naby Keita. So
and Fabinho for most last season.
Fabinho had to play centre back, so I can't blame him.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a bulldog for Fabinho.
But I don't know. It's just, I feel like John McGinn, Aston Villa, asking price was like 50 mil? I mean, he better be bloody worth 50 million because we just lost
He's not.
Wijnaldum, who is balling out for Netherlands right now. He's about to go to, what was it, PSG. He's going to PSG. And it's just like, oh, and then you bring in John McGinn. It's like, but how do you, like, Wijnaldum...
Andy Robertson had a word with Klopp. He said, oh, I had to get my mate in.
It'll be John McGinn, mate. Because I looked at some of his stats, like, 2021 tackle success rate, 61%. Like, that season he had 12 yellow cards as well.
He's a good player. Like, don't get it twisted.
He's a good player. No, he's a good player. He puts in an absolute shift. But like,
it's not very inspiring, is it?
But when you
guys?
say Liverpool, you don't follow up with John McGinn.
He's very James Milner.
You
though.
wouldn't. You say that. You say that. You wouldn't have done that with Robertson, would you? And he was at Hull. So.
Yeah.
But this is what I mean. This is why I'm saying, like, I do put a lot of trust in Klopp for these decisions, because he has pulled in, like you've just said, Bardell or Robertson from Hull, and you're like, what the fuck? And he turns out to be one of the best left backs in the world.
Your scouting's been probably the best in the league for the last couple of years.
So if Klopp turns around and goes, look, John McGinn's joining the roster, I'd be like, fair play. Let's see how he gets on. Let's see what you can make him do. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, that's a bad decision, because he's not really made. He's made more better decisions than he has made bad decisions.
How much Villa want for him? 50 mil.
Apparently, yeah.
I wouldn't pay that.
I wouldn't pay 50.
I wouldn't
pay 40. I pay 40.
You could sell them Nat Phillips for like 35 and then get John McGinn.
No, you ain't selling Nat Phillips.
Maybe Nat Phillips for like 10 at push.
Hang on a minute. I'm not saying Nat Phillips is worth 35. I'm saying that for some weird reason, a lot of clubs leave Liverpool youngsters to be worth that. I mean, you haven't got Bournemouth in the league, so unfortunately you can't just sell him to him. But
Yeah.
I've seen him linked with Burnley. I mean, if you could sell him for 20 mil to Burnley, then...
And Newcastle. He's been linked with Newcastle as well.
I'll tell you, literally, I was coming on to these guys, the outgoings. Nat Phillips is linked for a £12 million move out of Liverpool to Burnley and Brighton are the front runners, from what I've seen. And then also Nico Williams, it's actually said he wants to leave.
That's fair.
He wants to take the first team football.
I know Klopp has said, like, he doesn't want them to leave, but they're not gonna like push them out. If they want to stay, then they'll stay part of the squad, which I think is really nice. Look, if you want to leave, that's fine. We'll sort that out. But if you don't, we're happy to keep you.
If you're basically looking at cooping around 22 to 25 million for the pair of them, it's all right business considering like Leeds, Southampton, Villa, and Burnley are interested. So
I mean,
if he's linked with Brighton, does that mean Ben White's definitely going to?
That's what I'm thinking. You never know. You never know.
Do that deal first, wouldn't you? Because that's the cheaper deal. So you'd get that deal over the line, then sell Ben White for 50 mil or whatever.
I'd like to keep. I'd like to keep. Personally, I'd like to keep hold of Nat Phillips. Personally,
yeah,
I think he's been great, especially being shoved into a position, and then actually by the latter end of the sort of the situation he was in, he was phenomenal. He was actually solid, proper getting the job done, and not bitching about it. To be fair.
Yeah.
I wouldn't argue keeping him, but it's gonna he could always come back, I guess. But I think for his development, it'd be better to stay at Liverpool, because obviously he's not going to be like first pick. Obviously, going from next season, it's probably going to be Van Dijk, Konate, and then.
I mean, there's no better development than playing first team football 90 minutes every week.
What centre backs they are, eh?
But I'm just saying, like you play like. Even for one season, just like working under like Van Dijk for a bit, even though he's experienced, talented, like world-class players. And then
I don't know, man. Nat Phillips is not a realistic Liverpool starter for.
No, I'm saying he's a realistic starter. And he's not. I wouldn't mind seeing him in like cup games.
I mean, he's 24, so if you're not going to see him for a few years, you probably won't see him until he's like 28, 29, when it's not too bad. But is he realistically going to be any good because he's not playing? Fair enough, he does it in training, watching Van Dijk and playing with Van Dijk. But at the end of the day, you actually have got to get on the field and play 90 minutes to consistently to actually become a good football player. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I see what you mean, though, because it is kind of one of them things where you don't want to see someone like that go.
Yeah.
Because he has got potential, but sometimes it is better to just, you've got to let him go, innit?
Yeah, because you've got Van Dijk ahead of you, and then there's one spot, and you've got Gomez, Matip, and Ibrahim Konate there now. You're like, you're not going to play, even if you do, it's not going to be in a high important game.
Play
Like
against
last.
Macclesfield in the FA Cup.
Exactly,
in the first,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Those are the. I understand like why he would leave because like
Oh, 100%.
it's a congested position now.
Oh yeah. I can understand why he went there because of the injuries and stuff, and he
Oh,
actually
yeah,
did get
massively.
game time. But I can fully see why he wants to leave. It completely makes sense. But Chelsea, they're doing a bit of a madness at the moment. They're trying to get rid of Ziyech, and it looks like he's going to be following in the footsteps of his former Chelsea teammate Fikayo Tomori. With Milan are interested in buying him, so Milan coming
crazy,
for all
man.
these Chelsea boys.
How are they gonna, mate? I mean, I'll take him. I can't believe they're gonna try and sell him.
Yeah,
They just get him.
One season.
they just signed him, but the reason why they are trying to sell him is because they have fully put themselves in the race for Jack Grealish. They said they're rivaling Man City to get that signature if they can get that signature. So
Jesus Christ, it's got too
and-
much money.
it doesn't even stop there, mate. It
Oh
doesn't
my
even
God, I
stop
thought
there.
that was it.
They are very well. They said they're trying to get Haaland, but if that doesn't work, they're going for Lewandowski because also Bayern Munich are trying to get Haaland. So if Haaland goes to Bayern Munich, Chelsea are going to pick up Lewandowski.
Oh my God. It's
So,
like that kid. Chelsea's like that kid who just writes names on a bit of paper, and just puts the best fucking
Yeah,
players.
it's like
They're
when you
playing
get
Football
the
Manager, aren't they?
Yeah.
financial takeover. You're just like, right, I'm taking all of these, man. But
Seems
yeah.
weird though going for Lewandowski when he'll be like what? I don't know, mid-30s at that
Well,
point.
you know, Chelsea have got this striker problem, right? So they need the most like guaranteed
yeah,
thing in the world, and Lewandowski scoring goals is the most guaranteed thing.
How are they going for Calvert-Lewin?
In the Prem though.
Lewandowski, he's yeah. You know, there are players that that doesn't really matter for. I think in the Prem, do you know what I mean? There are players that just do it. They do it in the Champions League. They do it in bigger stages in the Premier League. Like,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
On a consistent basis though, like obviously the Premier's
the best strike, well, one of the best, top two strikers in the world.
I don't disagree with you at all, to be fair, because I think in terms of the other top European leagues, I think the Bundesliga is probably the closest to the Premier League in terms of the physicality of it, compared to like La Liga, Serie A, Farmers League, all that crap. But yeah, I just think it'd be interesting to see if he does. I always find it quite interesting to see if players can perform in other leagues as well as just sort of the league they've been in for sort of however long.
Which makes me.
I don't doubt Lewandowski could do it. He's obviously a phenomenal player. Should have won Ballon d'Or. It was cheated out of it.
Robbed.
Exactly.
But just to
Robbery.
touch on what you
Daylight
just said
robbery.
about other players doing it in different leagues, I thought we were going to touch on it, but Mbappe's handed in his.
Oh,
transfer.
whoa! I'm going through Premier League at the moment, brother. We'll get to the.
All right,
we'll
I
get
thought it
to
was
the-
going to be on the Liverpool thing.
Well, if you had read the notes I said,
I have
in
it
the
up. I
chat
didn't get that
earlier,
far.
So if you'd read it, you'd have seen the Mbappe thing on there. So slow your horses, son. We're talking about Chelsea.
All right,
Someone kick Mark.
Yeah, kick Mark for God's sake. As you know, he's streaming, so don't kick Mark. But yeah, so that's basically it. Chelsea are looking to do a madness again. I don't know if that means Werner's going out the door. I don't know why you keep him around if you're going to get Haaland or
I can
Well,
see
but
like
maybe
a
they
merry-go-round
want
of
the
Werner
Mbappe.
going to Bayern.
maybe they enter the Mbappe race now that
Jesus.
he's officially said he wants out. They got the money.
That's for later. That's for later, mate.
I know. But
He hasn't said it yet.
but yeah, that's it. Basically, yeah, the other stuff in the Premier League, yeah, Villa trying to do that. Spurs, nothing player-wise, all managerial tin pot stuff. Leicester have just signed Patson Daka from RB Salzburg, 23 million. I don't know much about him. I don't know if any of you guys know anything about him.
I do.
Nah.
No, not really. No. Palace, bit of Palace talk, as everyone loves a bit of Palace talk.
Go get him a drink.
See,
Top up.
on the notes, I can see that the Palace section is considerably larger than most other sections on here.
Yeah, I had a bit to put on there, bro. Yeah, Lucien Favre, man, might be our new manager. It's going really well at the moment. Obviously, former Dortmund boss, who, yeah, like I put in the notes, bought the likes of Haaland, Bellingham, and Reina to Dortmund, and he likes to use youth players, which quality for us. We have a good academy. He's elevated every club he's been to. Yeah, we're facing some sort of competition from Everton, but I think they're more leaning Rafa than Favre. And from reports from Athletic saying that they've met, talked, and Favre was impressed with the Palace's plans for the future. So, it's I don't know. I'd be happy with it. I don't know what you guys think of that. but I'll be
A
happy with it.
BBC tweet from an hour ago have just said that they could have him appointed by the end of the week. They're in advanced talks, so maybe that is good news.
All I know is a former Dortmund manager that's, managed there with Sancho, Haaland, and all these boys. That can only be fucking good for us. Like, whatever. I mean, he is.
That'd be a decent appointment.
He's 63, so he's in the age range that we like. Nearly on his.
It's more exciting than
deathbed
Nuno.
Oh wait, oh mate, I'm so gassed.
He's got his bus
So
card.
gassed. This is, if I'm looking at all the other managerial candidates that we've been rumored with, he is by far the best one. Like, and we've proved the most. He's not done it in the Premier League, whatever. But I don't really, at this point, I don't care. I just want a manager, innit? With some sort of esteem around him. But also, like, in terms of links to players, Conor Gallagher. Apparently, we're looking at signing Conor Gallagher from Chelsea. Obviously, was on loan at West Brom last year. Did very well on loan at West Brom. £15 million we're looking to sign him for, which I think, central midfielder, freshen up that central midfield a bit, which would be quite nice. Aaron Ramsey, I've seen. I don't think that's going to be a thing, though. I don't think we pay him the wages that he would want. Ozan Kabak, we might be looking at him, getting him in from Schalke. Youthing up that back line. But yeah, apart from that, Maitland-Niles I saw, but I don't think that'll happen. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting at Power. I just want to get this manager thing over the line, and then we can start worrying about players and stuff. I do think Zaha will leave, though, at some point. But yeah. What do you guys think of any of them transfers? Good transfers, do you think, or?
The Kabak one would be good.
Yeah, Kabak would be all right. I don't see the point in Ramsey. Well, I see the point in it. I don't think you pay his wages. Like you said.
If I'm being completely honest, I don't want him.
No, he's past his prime, I think now.
I don't really want him, to be honest.
If he'd gone from Arsenal to a Palace, that would have made me a good choice. But the last sort of couple, what is it now, 2 years or so, he's been at Juve. He's not really done a whole lot since he's been there. I don't know how much he's played. I don't think it's been that much.
And I think compared to him. He has actually played a decent amount. He's played more than I thought he had played.
Yeah, but I don't think he's now what you guys would need. I think there's probably better players that you guys could get.
He's just a placeholder for when Eze gets back, and I don't really want to spend the wages on a placeholder.
Yeah. Obviously, because he went to Juve for free, he's been earning an absolute shed recently for the last couple of years. So I don't think he'll want to lose that much of a wage sort of bracket.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I'm not worried. Conor Gallagher's the one I want to get over the line, man. I really like Conor Gallagher. I think he'd bring a lot of, a bit of flair, a bit of that kind of thing to the midfield, sitting behind Eze. It would be great, man. And Favre likes to play a 4-2-3-1, which is just, inject it in me, mate. I want it. But yeah, it's like get it going, Palace. Come on, Parish, pull your socks up, mate. Let's get it done. But did any of you guys watch it When Eagles Dare, by the way?
Not yet, no.
Not yet.
Oh, you're letting me down. Some friends you are. No, I'm only joking. It was alright, actually. It wasn't as cringy as I thought it was going to be for us. Do you know what I mean? But that's always the worry with these kind of documentaries.
Have you watched the Fergie doc yet?
No, what is that?
It's on Amazon Prime, I think.
Yeah, Alex Ferguson never give in.
Well, I'm watching it tonight.
It's not really a Man United full thing. I mean, it touched on them, but.
Is it about him? Is it?
It's more about Fergie, where he.
Nice. I'll have to give that a look.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch that tonight, actually. But yeah, moving on with just quickly get the rest of these out of the way. Netherlands star, obviously Denzel Dumfries has been playing amazingly in the Euros. He's played his way into a big deal, I think, this summer. Everton have been linked, but also more recently Bayern Munich, Milan, and Inter want him. So, I mean, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Imagine a bit weird because he does play the same sort of position as Alphonso Davies. So I don't know how they're going to work that out. I know which one I'd rather have, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that works. Barcelona, we're getting closer to making a new deal with Messi. I think that's probably going to happen. He'd probably finish his career there.
So fucking boring.
Especially, with the fact that they've signed Depay and Aguero to partner him up in that top three. I think it's it's ridiculous. And we've seen what Frank de Jong's doing in this Euros. He is playing himself into the conversation for one of the best midfielders in the world right now. So yeah, they obviously Barcelona also want to get rid of Coutinho with Arsenal interested, but that's real speculation at the moment and a really weird move. That
We just link with him every bloody year. I don't care.
Yeah, it's one of them lazy, I think it's a bit of lazy journalism there. I'm not gonna lie.
Coutinho Liverpool thing.
I mean,
I don't see the point, but I saw it. I'm just saying.
Do you make any changes to your front line, Mark?
No.
Fair enough.
Don't need to, like.
It's a kind of a bit of a. It's a shame, but it's also not a shame that Messi's going to sign a new deal, because I would have loved to have seen him do it anywhere else.
Anywhere, even just a different team, even just a different team in La Liga.
Exactly.
I like a one-man club, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's cool to see and stuff, and obviously if he's happy, then fine. But obviously there was so much talk last season about how unhappy he was. Obviously things were going to go to court about his contract and everything. He wasn't allowed to leave, but he was allowed to leave, and all this sort of stuff. And it seemed to be quite a sort of, excuse the pun, a messy sort of situation. But it was just, for all of that to now just go away, and now he's all of a sudden sort of just signing a new deal. It's a bit like, it's a bit anticlimactic, really, because I would have loved to see him sort of come to the Prem, even if it's just a season in the Prem. That would have been quite cool, or any other league really. That would have been interesting. But fair enough, he wants to stay at Barca. He's been there for the rest of his life, so why not? Why not see out the rest of his career?
Yeah, well, 100%. I think it's cool. It is what it is. Messi and Barcelona goes hand in hand. I couldn't picture him playing anywhere else. But it would have been cool to see him in the Prem, 100%. I mean, obviously he's one of the best players ever, so I do like that. But where would he go? Where would you like to see? Obviously, excluding your own teams, unless it is your team that you think that he would go to. Anyone? I think it'd be City.
I was going to say City. Yeah.
City or United, probably.
Chelsea. I can see Chelsea being a sneaky one of them boys, because they just got money, innit?
They don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Abramovich will be like, take it.
Yeah.
They've got their limited ship.
Here's a
like super yacht. But yeah, so moving on, a bit of out. Obviously, we're moving outside. Moving to the Serie A. Juventus, man. Locatelli. He has, like we said earlier, he has played himself into a big money move. Juventus are looking at signing him. They want 34 million, and they also have been reported by Sky Italy that they want a player in the deal as well as the 34 million, which I think is fair enough.
Imagine, 34. Look at it as a daylight robbery.
Bro, it's weird. Like the way the Serie A do business is weird. They sell to each other and they sell low. It's always been that way, and it's so weird. But yeah, that's a great move. Obviously, Juventus getting the cream of the crop in Italy, as it will always be. But yeah, Locatelli. Yeah, I mean, I love it when the Euros and the World Cup come around, because you do see these players. It happened with James Rodriguez. It happens with all these players. They come around, they smash it in a tournament, and then they get their big money move. It's cool. But Ramos, like Bars was saying earlier, Ramos looking to turn down United and City in favour of joining PSG. Fair enough. Get that bag before you retire. Get a couple of years under your belt. Get paid a shit.
Yeah, I would not want to see him at Man United anyway. I think that's a red card waiting to happen. I'm in the French league.
Yeah. Where do you guys think? Because I love Sergio Ramos. I think he's fantastic. He's one of my favourite players to watch, and I think he's one of the best centre backs to have done it. But obviously, he pushes people's buttons. I love the shithousery.
He's a proper shithousery player.
I love it. Yeah,
I love it.
You wouldn't get away with it in the Prem.
Nah.
No.
And I think he's had a fabulous career, hasn't he? So you can go away and do it with PSG, who are probably going to be one of the favourites for the Champions League again. And let's face it, Man United won't be. Yeah.
No,
Mark, are you still salty about Ramos injuring Salah?
Not as much as I should be, because we did then win the Champions League the following year. So, like, if we didn't win the Champions League the following year, I'd still be fuming about it. It'd be the first thing I'd say every single day on this podcast. But we won it the following year. So,
all right, everyone, welcome back. Fuck Sergio Ramos.
Welcome back. This is a Fuck Sergio Ramos podcast only. No, he did kind of like. You talk about the shithousery, and there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, yeah, shithousery. Then you say Sergio Ramos shithousery, and I'm like, no, because I was on the receiving end of that shithousery, and it was not fun. Like, I was sitting there going, Salah, man.
It's always nice until you're on the receiving end.
Exactly. But
He's
like,
taking a
yeah.
piss. I don't know why he does it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those things, isn't it?
It's
Like,
what it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, the last bit of news would have been a nice surprise if Mark hadn't have, Mark had read the notes I made.
yeah, come back from work and sorted out the podcast.
Mbappe is you got a lunch break? Mbappe is on his way out of PSG basically. So I'm putting socks on. That's why I'm.
I've not
Actually.
seen this. I refuse to believe this.
No, he's signing with Arsenal. He can text me
Where's
earlier.
this come
Basically,
from?
basically my question is the last topic of this podcast. So all I want to put the question to you guys is, if he does leave, where will he go?
Liverpool.
Arsenal.
Okay, realistic answers, please.
He texted me earlier. He's coming to Arsenal. He's a good friend of mine, you know.
Okay.
Ollie's
Definitely not going Arsenal.
Ollie's lost the plot, mate. He's been sat in that room all day, and it's just got to him now.
It's because I took my fan off earlier. I'm overheating. It's like getting the heat stroke.
I think if anyone's in the name for, if there's a handful of clubs, Liverpool's going to be one of them, at least.
So, but okay, do you realistically, genuinely believe that he will go to Liverpool? If I have to say one, like, this is your favourite club for him to go to, is it really Liverpool, or are you just wishful thinking right now?
Is it Liverpool bias?
Because it's not Liverpool. Like, it just ain't.
I don't even think Liverpool would actually pay that much money for him, to be
Nah,
honest.
me neither, man.
We don't splash the cash every like in bulk. Like, we splash the cash. Van Dijk, Alisson,
You've not like
maybe Mane.
that would be a mind-boggling figure to get,
That-
right?
Yeah,
Mind-boggling.
yeah,
And
easy.
not that I'm saying there has been a player that's come on the market for 80 million or whatever, but yeah, you haven't even. Have you done that? I haven't done that. Oh, Van Dijk. But I mean,
No,
like,
Van Dijk was 75.
yeah, like, you know, I don't know. I don't think he'll go to an English club because we're all owned by American owners, and they really don't want to spend the money.
It's tough though, because obviously there's so many layers to all of this, as probably everyone knows. But obviously Liverpool have gotten this new fresh deal with Nike, but then Mbappe is quite heavily involved with Nike as well, so there's obviously that to take into consideration.
Yeah,
There's
but
these
you know
little
what?
things.
how many teams?
I'm pulling on everything, guys.
I don't want to
Yeah.
get your hopes up because that's
think
why
it's always
Ronaldo is linked to
a
us
lot as
every
well.
year. Ronaldo is linked every year on the basis that we had Chevrolet, who'd done the biggest shirt sponsorship at one point. Then we had Nike. They were going to bring him back. Then we had Adidas. They did kind of fund the Paul Pogba transfer, but yeah, that's why Ronaldo is linked with us every single year because of shirts and the sponsors. So, not happening.
It's one of those things you take with a pinch of salt. I do understand. It's just it's just every single time there's been like Mbappe talks, there's always that one thing that I come across like, oh, Mbappe Liverpool, and I'm like, come on. Don't
Yeah,
tease
but
me like
I
that.
imagine you do follow Liverpool fan things. and stuff
Yeah, of course. But
Yeah,
like,
that'll be why.
Sorry to interrupt, but Germany are losing
Well then,
to Hungary.
love that.
Oh, Hungary! We need to practice.
Things you love
podcast,
to
so I
see.
need to go and watch this game.
Yeah,
I
we're nearly
think
2 hours.
Yeah, Madrid. In all seriousness,
Okay,
I think
Madrid.
Madrid are there.
Okay, he thinks Madrid. Bars, who do you think he'll go to?
Yeah, I think Real Madrid.
Real Madrid. Okay, I think realistically Real Madrid. But if it's going to be a Premier League club, I'm putting money on Chelsea to get it through. The only club that will spend the money like that to
Think
get it
you're
done.
right,
Maybe
yeah.
obviously Man City as well, but yeah.
Not if they
Yeah.
go for Harry Kane.
Not if they go for Harry Kane. Exactly. But I wonder if now if they see this Mbappe thing, will they go for Kane? Probably. But yeah, it'd be interesting to
I'm
see.
putting my money on Liverpool.
Oh god.
You've just lost all your money.
Don't mind. No. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I haven't lost it yet, have I? So.
You know how I feel. Why would you say that? Like, you put me in such an uncomfortable situation. Like, you know I'm not happy. You know I'm trying to see if it'll work out here, and I know that it's not.
Oh, I mean, you did say Man City were going to finish 7th.
Come on, man. I'm trying to make this podcast interesting.
Yeah.
Leave it
I thought this podcast was pretty interesting before that, Mark. I'm hoping anyway.
I'm just
Otherwise,
throwing the I'm just adding flames to the fire. But yeah, Liverpool will sign Mbappe. Done deal.
And Palace will sign Ronaldo. And Messi. And yeah. And then we'll win the league. And we'll win the La Liga.
You'll
So,
win the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, we're wrapping up because I need to go watch this football. Guys, thank you for joining me, Mark, Ollie, and Bards. As always, it's been great talking to you boys. We'll be on this same time. Well, maybe not the same time, but we will be on next week, depending on how our work and schedule all plans out. But we will be back. I'm not sure if we'll have Harry or Bards. That's still up in the air. But one of them two boys will be back. Bards, obviously, if you're available, we will obviously talking to you and that kind of thing. But yeah, sweet. But yeah, thanks everyone.
That should be your next poll, mate.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ooh, that could be interesting. I know who I vote for, but I'm not gonna say.
Up to the guest.
Play your cards close to your chest. I like it.
But yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, thanks to everyone for watching. If you're watching on live, or if you're watching or listening from, it could be 10 years in the future. Who knows? Thank you for listening. But make sure to like, subscribe, follow on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Music, anything that holds podcast. Have a look. We might be on there, and subscribe to us. So yeah, thank you everyone, and we will see you soon. It's coming home. It's coming.